My name is Bob Lang with ExplosiveOptions.net, and I'm here with...
I'm Tim Hefkie, and you know who I am, Top Notch Trading, the futures man, well, go ahead, Bob. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, I just wanted to talk about how I basically manage trading options regularly during the day and kind of treading into your area of expertise with futures. And it's an interesting dynamic when I'm looking for trading opportunities with options. I'm also having to keep one eye on what's happening with the futures market and see where the market is going. Now, oftentimes when currently, like in the situation we're in right now, there is not a lot of correlation in the markets relative to what individual issues are doing. So that's an advantage for someone like me who's a stock picker. However, I still do have to keep an eye on what's happening with futures markets and how they relate and how they're going to be carrying certain issues like an Apple or something like, or
Sure.
Google or something like that.
Well, to be honest with you, even the futures at this time, they've been tough. I mean, everybody keeps talking about the fiscal cliff and if Congress is going to get this to a closure by the end of the year. But, going forward with these options I would be a key on the future end to find the correct strike prices. An example is a couple weeks ago, maybe not even, was looking for 1396.60 in the S&P.
Yep.
And that would have been a perfect strike price of, say, 1397, which, by the way, happened to be the low. And you as an option guys would figure if I can long an option position in whatever strategy you would use, I'm not quite sure if it would be a butterfly or to hedge yourself that way. Because when I come out and look for a low and that thing holds, the upside objective was 28 handles higher. How would that do for an option trade?
Absolutely, it would be absolutely. I mean, if you can, predict where that move is going to be going, and that's always the elusive thing is, where's the next move going to be? I mean, I don't really care about what happened yesterday or what's happening now. I don't really care about what's happening tomorrow. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Tim, is how are you? What are you feeling about with a volatility level in the market that's been so low for a while and is still low with this uncertainty overhang over our heads with this, how's this fiscal cliff going to resolve itself? Are people going to be pulling money out of the markets? Is it going to be a panic or what have you? There doesn't seem to be that level of concern or fear in this market with the volatility level in the 15-16% range. How does that have you thinking of position?
Well, positioning wise is well, like I said, with this fiscal cliff at hand, and the technical side of the trade, the charts are showing, since we've achieved and held all these levels, that obviously there is some money coming into the market as the S&P especially is firming up. So on that side, actually, because of the volatility, like you say, it's low, it happens to do and deal with the volume at hand. There hasn't been that much volume, and without the volume, that's where the lack of volatility comes from. So we would like to see, I would like to see volume pick up, and if the volume does pick up, I would suspect, and I'm suspect because of how the markets are lately, that we should see an increase in volatility. What is your thinking of that?
That could be the case. However, the one thing that I've really noticed is when it comes to open interest in options, and I'm looking at the spiders, for instance, there's a lot of open interest in strikes right around where the price is today, and we're talking about options that expire towards the end of the month, and then exactly on the end of the month. So on the 28th and the 31st, we have 2 consecutive days where options are going to be expiring for the spiders, the Russell, and the NASDAQ. So I think, for instance, it's going to create a lot of volatility just because of that, not necessarily because of the event that we're...
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, tomorrow, March becomes lead month. We're going to have expiration in the week following, and then going into the year end, we'll see what happens. And until then, maybe we'll see this 15 handle in the S&P. It wouldn't surprise me at this point.
That wouldn't surprise me either. Thanks again for...
Have a good day, everybody.
Okay.